Hey, what's going on YouTube? I wanted to talk about Beyonce and Lady Gaga. I wish that Beyonce had pulled a Lady Gaga when she performed Precious Lord, because when Lady Gaga performed her Sound of Music medley at the Oscars, she did an amazing job. She did what I spoke about in the video that I hoped Beyonce would have done, but she didn't do. And Lady Gaga's performance, she just did it. And I don't stand for either one of them, but I respect them as talented artists that they are, and they are indeed. But Lady Gaga blew it away because she didn't Lady Gaga up the Sound of Music songs. She sang them the way that they are supposed to be sung, and she did an amazing job. She blew it away, and I wish Beyonce would have done that, and that's what I was thinking that she was gonna do. Quick side note, that reminds me of a few years ago, back in the Dangerously in Love days, when Beyonce did a tribute to Barbra Streisand, and during her tribute to Barbra Streisand, she did one of her Beyonce runs, and I remember the camera panned to Barbra Streisand at just the right moment, and Barbra Streisand was like listening to it. She was like, okay. When she did the run, and I loved it. Barbra Streisand was not having it. She was like, what are you are ruining my song. But Beyonce has since learned, and she does a better job. But I just want to do, because Beyonce has a way of, like I said, you know, pulling that wild card and being like, oh yeah, I can do that too. And I was hoping she would do that with that song, but she didn't. And she's done it before. For example, I remember listening to her performance of At Last. You all should go listen to that. Beyonce's studio version of At Last, she did an amazing job. Like, you can tell that she interpreted the song and she took time to deliver it. There are parts in that song, and I don't say this lightly because, again, I'm not a Beyonce stan, so I don't just say amazing things about Beyonce just to say them. But there are parts in that song that I was listening to it and I was like, she is giving me Aretha Franklin. Like, classic Aretha Franklin. Like, Beyonce was singing her butt off on that song. And she has an ability to do these amazing performances, but her performance of Precious Lord, what it felt like when I saw it was, the decision was that, okay, well, Precious Lord is a gospel song, so just go ahead and just riff and run all over the place and growl, scream, and stuff like that, because that's the kind of stuff that makes gospel audiences say, yay, and then it'll be like, oh, Beyonce can sing gospel style as well. But that's not that type of song, but that's exactly what she did. And she just did not do an amazing job with that song. She did not. I wish that Lettucey would have come out, but as I posted on my Instagram, the reason Lettucey didn't come out is because she would have, and I'm giving you the snaps, she would have sung all up and down over Beyonce. And if she held herself back, people would have known that Lettucey was holding back for Beyonce. So I guess it makes sense that they couldn't do a duet, because either Lettucey was going to give it her all and sing all over Beyonce, or she was going to hold back and everybody would have been like, oh, Lettucey was holding back for Beyonce. But it reminds me of when Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans performed Count on Me. There was one performance that Whitney Houston did, I think it was at the Grammys, where she went from Shoop Shoop Exhale. I'm a Whitney Houston stan, by the way. I only stand for Whitney Houston. So Whitney Houston went from Shoop Shoop Exhale into Count on Me with CeCe Winans. And Whitney Houston, I guess her voice was a little bit worn out from Shoop Shoop Exhale. And when it came time to go straight into Count on Me, her voice was kind of shot a little bit during that point. And CeCe Winans just came out with her mic and she just sung the flip all over Whitney Houston on that performance. And I love me some Whitney Houston. I do, but I have to admit, CeCe Winans did that. But what I'll give Whitney Houston, of course, credit for is Whitney Houston has had performances where she sung all over CeCe Winans and she blew it away. So, you know, they both go back and forth because Whitney Houston is an amazingly talented artist. Anyway, again, I think she could have done an amazing job. I think that would have been an opportunity to really do an amazing job. and really kind of, dare I say, take her career to a different level, to the extent that I can tell from, I've seen some performances of hers where she doesn't, you know, constantly perform her butt off and like dance and flip up and down and flip all around and all of that stuff. So she's trying to work her way to the more calm performances. And that would have been a wonderful opportunity for her to do that, to work herself toward the stand up and sing performances. For example, if Beyoncé on her next album gave me nothing but Rather Die Young multiple times and Listen multiple times, mixed with Countdown and Love on Top multiple times on an album, and just fill the album with that, I'd be done. I'd be like, yes, Beyonce, you've got it, you know? So, but dare I say, I don't want to say she dropped the ball, but the ball was dropped. And I think it's because of the fact that they rushed and they were like, oh, let's take this from Lettucey, and then trying to throw together a quality performance. And I think the ball was dropped by Team Beyonce. I understand why they didn't give it to Lettucey, because if Lettucey had that sort of exposure with her amazing voice and amazing talent, it would sort of let people know that, wait a minute, there are other like amazing singers out here who don't just try to emulate Beyonce, you know? And they would hear Lettucey and it'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing. And people would start to talk about her. So that's why they had to snatch that from Lettucey. It is what it is. Again, you know, I love Beyonce. She's an amazingly talented artist. She's a fellow 80s baby. Gotta love that. And I just wish she had given a Lady Gaga style performance. Take the time to interpret the song the way she did when she performed At Last. So she can do it. She just didn't do it. Talk to y'all later, YouTube. Peace. Be blessed.